Squadron back in this bitch. Alright, today's verdict is liquid metal undefined sine wave. That's what it looks like. We'll jump right in this box. Let's play. Yeah, we're going to discuss some serious stuff today. All right, and we're going to start from a nit patch. I was just playing it. I don't want to do too much talking, but unfortunately I have to. All right, so today's verdict is this. All right, so this is the liquid metal undefined sine wave. All right, at the top it's a 0, in the middle is 64, and at 127. So that's basically from right to left and left to right, and you turn that pulse width knob. We're right here. So if you start in the middle, I told you that magic and sound goes in circles. Okay? Music, magic, same thing. Words, magic, music, sound, same thing. Sound's an element. Now you have to understand how sound behaves in order to fuck with it in the right way. Okay, so as you see, if you start at 64 on both oscillators, because this is color coded, okay, oscillator 1, oscillator 2, so this is color coded, alright, this is what you have going on. The infinity symbol. Because you start at 64 and it goes in a full circle, it goes to 0 and then back to 64, and then from 64 to 127. Same thing with oscillator 2. And then you have full circle from left to right, or 0 to 127, and from 127 to 0. This is how it works. Now the LFO works for this type of stuff. This is how you automate this crap. What you do is, okay, if you go into the negative amount, then you would be just doing this to the LFO. Okay, if you go into the negative amount on pulse width, let me show you. Okay, you go into the negative amount on the pulse width. What happens is it just does this. You can see that. So then you have to understand how this is going. Now, since the LFO does this part will equal the maximum or minimum value, the peak. And then it'll go back to either start or finish. Now this is the method you use for the majority of the stuff here when it comes to these portraits like this, because you could go to and fro, you know what I'm saying, so left and right. This is how you guys do it. Now when it comes down to this loop all envelope, and when you invert it, and what I mean by inversion is putting this envelope into the modifier, and then you go to XOR operation and then -1 on a constant. The envelope on loop is going like this. But if you do it like this, it just goes in reverse. It goes in the opposite direction. So from right to left. Left would be the inversion. And the release portion would determine the cycle of loop or footage, because you can match that up to oscillators and then further continue on. Now this is color coded as well, oscillator 1, oscillator 2. Now you see how this goes for the signal path of reflection. This is going to have to go through the filter that is set to resonance to 60, you know, cut off to 71, and its FM source is going to have to be an oscillator 1 or 2, because in this respect. So I played some noise here. Let's go to the nit pad. Let's set this up on the fly, wie im Flug. Okay. Let's turn it to 84. Well, you know what? That's a little bit long. Like 72. Alright, now let's go to this undefined liquid metal. I'll also say liquid metal definitely has granular qualities. See, there's a couple systems in here that have granular qualities, but they're not the grain engine. You know, it's not bacteria or mosaic or random grain. It's just like liquid metal is a fluid. So you're messing, when you mess with the LFO fastly, you're messing with buoyancy. You know, you're moving the fluid around. This is how it works. Okay, so let's take this to polar opposites. We'll go from zero. We'll go to 0 here. We'll crank it to 63. Leave this one at 127. We negative 64 it. We set it to the same LFO. But in this case, it would be LFO 1. See how it's nothing? Hardly any noise. Now, if I kill that, this is what happens. You still have the pulse with movement. And so what you have to do is you get the FM. See, the FM is the patch cable. So you take oscillator 1, you plug it to 2. Okay, now you see how it's working. This is how it's going. Polar opposites in circles, magic. So now what you do if you want to get robust, alright, in this case, well, this is what I do, man. I usually just set the reflection portion of the filter in filter 2 because I'm usually using both filters. Now that's arbitrary to you. However, your key track is going to be at 100. Okay. Oscillators, FM source oscillator 1. You're going to crank that up. You're going to cut it off down to like 71 or something, and you turn it to bandpass or something like that. You have to use low pass, bandpass, high pass, or notch. If you do not use those, if you use PPG or a cone for this operation, you will negate filter FM. It will block it out. I'm telling you that right now. Now you hear it. Now watch when I turn this to PPG. There's no filter FM for that. It doesn't work. Think it makes a difference? I'm turning the knob. Does nothing. This is how I prove it. So that's low pass, high pass, band pass, and notch. So that's what you use. Now, that's the reflection is because oscillator 1 is the FM source. So you're reflecting oscillator 1 back and forth. See, this is the noise you get. Now, let's move this thing to 64 on a pulse width. We'll put this shit on 64. Whoops. Now you hear that? Now what you do is, if I told you if you want to get the peak, this is how also you get to percussive. If you go to that peak of that LFO, which would be 90 degrees, that is the peak. Alright. Now, alright, so if you want to run, let's talk about dead oscillators. Let's kill the volume to those. You want to run something through dead oscillator. Well, you take filter 1, because that's why I set it in serial killer mode. which is why I had that set up here. Filter self-oscillation, poor man's drive, you know, stuff like that. But then you have the serial filter through silent oscillator operation, which is what I'm doing right now. It's just you add that filter 1 in, which is what I'm doing. In this case, we'll turn to bandpass. We'll crank up the reso to 113 or something. We're gonna have to put poor man's drive on there, which I told you to shut down envelope. In this case, envelope 3, crank amount and mod amount. It's plus 63. Shut the envelope down. Okay. Put it in serial. Don't forget to set the FM source to something like an LFO or such. I know you guys can clearly hear that. So this is really, really heavy. Now, this process works for other stuff, like I said. So the engines that I would want to say that are similar to grain would definitely be liquid metal. I want to say a lot of the images and portraits are like done in such a strange manner. I can't get into this stuff with you guys. However, the wire materials, certain things have granular qualities to it. Crystalline has granular qualities to it. Materials, magic sigils, and I want to say elements and stuff like that kind of have granular qualities. These are qualities, and I didn't say they're grain though. But let's understand grain. Grains are done, okay, they say you have to use a sample, blah, 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 but sample's a sound. If you have a whole bunch of jumbled together waveforms, that makes a wavetable. They're all different. None of them are the same or whatnot. And I'm not saying they're not making images because this is mathematically done. Okay? A grain, okay, each different waveform is considered a grain. If you glue them together, that's basically a sample. You're just gluing together waveforms in a consecutive manner. If you have different start points set up to where this plays and loops and blah, 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 that is how you get grain on the Blofeld, especially when you're using the granular engine. And there's 3 types of granular engine. I told you there's mosaic grain, there's bacteria grain, and there's random grain and glass grain. Glass grain is just a harder version of random grain. It's a little bit darker. Now, liquid metal has granular properties, so does Damascus metal. Chromium kind of does too, but you're affecting the shine. You know, you can get your shine on. So that's how this works. Tune bells. I mean, you can get really easily achievable stuff with this stuff. I just wanted you to know it. So, I'll note comb filter works with disharmonic stuff because it comes from your frequencies, therefore allowing you to comb to the frequency that you need it to be. On that note, I will catch you on the flip. I will show these flashcards one more time, so you guys can see how this is going. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I'll be back. I have to do something really quick, and we'll get back into this shit. Oh yeah, key tracking mod source, mod amount, FM source, FM amount. If you don't know their abbreviations, better learn the language. I'm speaking it. You know what I mean? So on that note, subscribers, new subscribers, people who have been getting at me, thank you. Please get to the store, please get to eBay. Trolls, you know what to do. Hate on the low, support on the cool, and do your job. Subscribers, I love you. I'll catch you on the flip.